here's how Bernie can still win.
Yes, hello future people. We are speaking to you. It is currently 2 days before the election.
That will change everything.
Maybe.
It is our dearest hope that
The election does not change everything.
that you are well and everything is good.
That you got out to the polls.
Yeah.
That you
Pokemon Go.
You Pokemon went to the polls.
Yeah.
Pokemon got to the polls.
There you go. We got there. And what's it like in the future? Is it cool?
Probably not.
Please tell us if the future is cool.
We're not doing so hot over here.
No.
These two are dying.
Correct.
Anxiety attacks.
I wouldn't say... I'd say depression is winning on my end. Depression is the one winning.
Anyway, so here's how Bernie can still win. Can you guys tell me what happened last time on New Mutants?
Yeah.
There were Romans in the Amazon.
Yes. Amazonian Romans.
Amazomians.
Oh,
Romazonians. No. There was, political intrigue that I didn't fully...
Okay.
My brain didn't latch on to everything that was happening. It was probably, the different names. I was just I don't know.
Okay, so, first things first, Amazon trip, yay, hooray, yahoo!
The forest, not the company.
No, they went to the company, and they had a trip inside one of their procurement centers.
They got lost.
Yeah, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they found a bunch of Romans.
No, first they found a bunch of indigenous people.
Yeah.
Or at least people they thought were indigenous.
Yeah.
To the Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that happens when you put a large enough warehouse together. You get people who live in the warehouse. They live there for generations. And it is where they come from.
It's affordable housing. I mean, the thing's so big, and
this
there's
could
also
be some
a bunch
kind
of
of
stuff.
cyberpunk future.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's really big, so I feel like you could probably get away with it.
You could probably live there.
And if people question you, just pretend to be an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
They probably
knows.
were employees in the first place, and then they were like...
They just couldn't afford housing anymore.
Yeah.
So now they live here.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so... What? Oh, God, right. The asshole on the boat tried to get one of the New Mutants killed.
Castro.
Yeah. Of course that's his name. He put chum in the water and there's piranhas.
Yeah.
Because that's how piranhas work.
Totally.
And Cannonball saves Danny, who jumped in and
who just decided to fucking jump in this river that she knows nothing about.
Yeah, there are gonna be all kinds of things in there. And they end up scaring a bunch of indigenous people they think who are indigenous, who they fight. Cannonball steals one.
Yeah, he just kidnaps one of them for no reason.
Real normal.
I don't even know what his plan
normal.
was going into that. Why did he do that?
He's so normal. He's so normal about it. And nobody really bats an eye that he just abducted a person.
Right,
Yeah.
they all just kind of go along with it.
They're just like, yep, that seems like the right thing to do. And it's like, okay, but why? They didn't need to get information from her or anything. Why do it?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
But apparently she's a little sus because all her tools do not match who she's supposed to be. Which is a weird thing to interrogate when you consider that they have contact with the outside world, guys. Where do you think... Oh, she has a steel knife. I wonder where she could have gotten that. Maybe the rest of Brazil?
No, indigenous people live like cavemen all the time.
Ah, so they're all completely unconnected to the outside world at all times.
Like the Amish. Except the Amish aren't that.
Yes, there's literally only one or two groups of people on the face of the earth who actually are disconnected from the rest of the world.
Well, yeah, because once we find out about it,
Yeah.
it doesn't last.
Yeah, we gotta give them Amazon. We gotta get them Amazon Prime. Stat.
That's democracy.
I love democracy.
I feel like we could use that America fuck yeah clip again.
America fuck yeah! We could.
But yeah, so that the dude Castro.
Yeah, he
found out that Sam, because Sam blasted off to save Danny, so he found out Sam's a mutant, and he was really mad about that.
But
no,
he's
actually another guy who was mad about it. Castro vouched for him.
Yeah, Castro weirdly actually stopped the mutiny.
Yeah, because he thought it would be useful.
I don't know how. I don't know. Forcing the kids to just stay in the piranha-infested Amazon waters seems like a better way to maybe get them killed. I guess he wanted to make sure they died.
Anyway,
whatever. It's not
I don't
important.
know what his deal is.
It's not important, and then things happened, and he ran them over some.
He killed
rapids.
the captain.
Yes.
The boat went over some rapids. Blah blah blah.
The indigenous girl turned out to be white.
In brownface.
They all
they got captured by Romans.
They got captured by Romans after they swam out of the river, except Roberto's mom was missing.
Yeah. Rip Roberto's mom, probably.
They got taken as slaves for the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
The boys went to the Colosseum, and the girls became escorts, shall we say.
Let's,
and,
yeah.
Then, as things were going in the Colosseum, then Rahne transformed to go save Sam, who she's apparently in love with suddenly.
My love! What?
Where the fuck did that come
I have
from,
no
right?
clue.
I don't know.
But what's-his-fuck who's in charge saw her transform, and everyone was freaking out, but then this guy who's in charge, he was like, she's descended from the wolf that suckled Remus and Romulus. She is a god!
Uh-huh.
Etc. So the kids got, released. They're not slaves anymore, but they're not free to go.
They can't just go home.
They cannot. And also it turned out that the girl that they kidnapped earlier
is the daughter of that guy's political enemy.
Yes. She's a senator's daughter. And she's trying to
preserve the Republic
because there's a bunch of
political intrigue going
Yeah,
on.
there's a bunch of political intrigue bullshit.
That Senator Gallio that they were talking about at the arena wants to become pretty much Emperor of Nova Roma.
Right.
And that really makes me scratch my head how these people even exist. Because they already clearly have an empire, because the Roman Empire they're based off of is the Roman Empire at the Republic at its downfall, which was already an empire that covered most of the Mediterranean. So, I don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be, what their deal
anyway,
Don't worry about it.
There's also a priestess who was sacrificing people, and she kidnapped Danny to sacrifice her in a volcano.
I mean, we are skipping ahead.
I don't care. She kidnapped Danny to sacrifice her in a volcano, but Danny didn't want to be sacrificed. So she fought back, and then
Senator's daughter falls
the senator's
into
daughter
the lava and then comes out again.
Came out again as
a goddess?
Lava lady of some sort.
Let us just say a lava lady. That's the easiest way to explain it for now.
There is a bunch of political intrigue about the two senators, and stuff happens, and good thing Roberto speaks Latin.
He does. That's true. I do like this cover.
What is going on this cover? Warning, surgeons have generally determined that assistant editor's month is dangerous to your health. What?
Assistant Editor's Month.
They used to do a lot of this back in the 80s. It was like some cute thing, only it doesn't really interfere with this much.
Okay.
First up is New Mutants 11 from September of 1983, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Tom Mandrake, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Joe Rosen with a cover by Tom Mandrake. Rising from the lava atop a pillar of rock, Amara, in her new form, casts firebolts down at Selene, hoping to consign the witch to oblivion.
I think she looks pretty cool, honestly.
It's a look.
I like the fire hair.
Yeah.
The weird streakiness is certainly a choice.
It's like swirling lava. It's cool looking.
Well, because she's called, as it says, Magma.
I mean, that's pretty uncreative, but...
Yeah, that's,
But
not
I get it.
much.
But the Black Priestess intercepts the blow. Not quite that easy a target. With an energy bolt of her own, Selene casts her power upon Amara's pillar, manifesting two giant stone creations.
Damn it.
Hers the power to command the inanimate, among other things.
Yeah, also she's immune to Danny's mind powers.
For some reason.
And can psychically compel people.
Because magic.
Anyway, Moonstar cries out in alarm for her savior as the stone beings crumble her pillar once more into the lava.
Well, hey, she came out once. She's
Yeah.
fine, right?
She should be fine.
A smug Selene sniping that she was unmatched from the start.
Yeah,
She's looking very gaunt in this last panel.
You look older all of a sudden. Are you okay?
Danny's confused by Amara's transformation, as it caught Selene off guard as well. But it's rivaled by the surprise Danielle feels when she whirls and sees the Black Priestess's face, now California Raisins style.
Oh, that's a plot point. Okay.
Uh-huh.
However, her vanity will not allow that to stand. And so the Black Priestess reaches out in dark communion with the earth and begins to create giant spikes in the walls, using them to drive her faithful worshippers into the pit to be incinerated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With their deaths, her youth and beauty are restored in a rush of ecstasy that even Moonstar can feel. More and more, Selene feels she's made the girl hers to hunt the world over with.
Yikes.
Danielle feels differently, remaining defiant. However, the battle of wills is cut short when a fresh shower of lava explodes from the pool.
This, too, is Toxic Yuri.
Amara's back, having burnt through the Black Priestess's rock demons.
The girl who came out of the lava was going to come out of the lava again. I'm shocked.
And she's not going to make it easy this time, spraying the priestess with a wave of lava.
Okay.
I like Danny's chainmail underwear.
Yeah, they redressed her for some reason, because they always do this with her.
Yeah.
With lava spraying everywhere, the heat only rises in the cave, leaving Danny to scramble up the steep walls for the little safe ground left to her, unsure where to go.
Fair.
She climbs high as she can, but eventually encounters flames. They force her to lose her grip, and she plummets to the cave floor, landing hard at Amara's feet.
Hi, Amara. How are you doing? That's what she says. It's great. I love it. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Aquila hesitates, recognizing her friend, and Danny, still afraid, reaches into her mind. They both see her greatest fear, but in that moment, it's hurting Moonstar.
Aww.
Ooh.
Realizing what might be going on, given her age, Danny softens, reaching out to the newly manifested mutant to offer her help as Amara dejectedly looks at herself as a monster.
Yep.
Wait. So she's a mutant, and her mutant ability is lava.
Yeah.
Yes.
Convenient, right?
Yeah, that's wild. What a coincidence.
She thinks it better she should die than face her father as this thing she's become. She's midway through this spiel when an energy bolt catches her in the back. Tendrils wrap around the girl as Selene drains her of her life force until Magma is no more.
Oh.
Replaced by Amara, limp and lifeless on the ground.
She had a good run, It was a record.
Wow, that's, okay? Okay.
Count up the number of panels.
Everybody's favorite New Mutants character, Magma. Everybody give a hand for Magma.
Well, hey, if I know one thing, they never stay dead forever.
Danny is shocked by the Black Priestess's deed, but Celine revels in it, delighting in the taste of Amara's life force.
Girl, at this point, why are you shocked?
Mm-hmm.
Explaining that Moonstar too will be capable of this one day. Back at Senator Aquila's battle, the losers of the battle are being led away in chains. As Senator Marcus Gallio looks on in triumph, the children look on in guilt, even despite his reassurances. They have other things on their minds as well. Danny is still missing.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
That's going well.
Roberto brings up his concerns, and at least to keep up appearances, Gallio orders a search party, despite quiet Latin protest from one of his guards that she's a young maiden. Your wife probably has her.
Ugh.
Well, maybe he doesn't know she's his wife, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Rahne offers to help track her friend down, but the senator can't have that.
Well, obviously, she's the holy goddess.
Yes.
So we can't put her in harm's way.
No, she has to stay pampered and safe and controlled and used
Not bleeding on the ground.
Yes, bleeding on the ground is bad for a sacred goddess.
It's true.
So he reassures her that he's got this in hand, only to be interrupted by the shouts of Lucius Aquila, swearing that it is Gallio who is the traitor, and he'll betray them as well. Something Gallio hand-waves away as nonsense.
I think the kids are starting to put together that, yeah, he's probably going to.
Suddenly, among the prisoners, Roberto spots the red-haired woman. In the dark, he can't see her face, but he knows he has to get a closer look, so he gets Sam to cover for him, explaining that he thinks Sammy's onto something, before creeping away towards the prison. Knowing he'll need a disguise to infiltrate the building, he ambushes a much larger guard. Hoping the cape and the cover of darkness can help disguise the fact that he's a little short for a stormtrooper.
He is, isn't he?
He's still rolling the situation around in his mind. It seems awfully convenient that Castro pinned the blame on Gallio's main political rival. Suddenly, he hears a familiar pair of voices and follows them to their source, a slightly ajar door. Peeking through, he sees his mother chained to a wall, as Castro explains the situation.
Where did Castro still has, like, Western clothes.
Yeah, where did he get new ones, right?
Yeah, I thought he lost his.
He's here on behalf of the Hellfire Club to ensure Emmanuel da Costa gets his precious mining rights. And once Marcus Gallio becomes emperor, they'll be forthcoming. There's just one loose end.
I mean, you know, you can probably get mining rights out of the Republic as well.
There's one loose end, and it's Nina. Sure, Emmanuel doesn't want that loose end tied up, but Castro does.
Yeah, sure does. He sucks.
That's when Berto calls him out, standing silhouetted in the door so Castro can't identify him as he snaps for him to get gone. The boy explodes into motion.
Oh my god.
Once more shattering the soldier's armor off his body as he transforms into Sunspot before advancing on Castro.
How does he do that without destroying his other clothes?
Many questions.
Few answers.
The thug gets his chance to draw his gun, but not to use it before Roberto is upon him. He then tears his mother's shackles from the wall before gladly embracing her, inquiring how she survived when he thought her drowned.
Yeah.
It's a very good question.
The answer is Amara's native friends pulled her from the water.
Native, quote unquote.
So wait, were they actually?
Many questions.
Many questions,
Of course.
few answers.
She then explained to him about the cult of fire and their sacrifices.
How does okay.
Sure.
Many questions, few answers.
Well, that one we actually have an answer for,
Oh,
though the women that pulled her from it know about that.
Oh, okay.
That alarms Berto, given how long Danny has been missing. Putting the pieces together, he asks his mother to get back in touch with the Amazon she'd been rescued by.
Son, it's not like I have a cell phone.
The New Mutants are going to try to raise their resistance with Aquila's men and fuck shit up.
Nice.
For the Republic! And its corruption! It's terrible, terrible corruption!
Unfortunately, Danny is going to have to hold her own for now. Though before they continue, Roberto has to know just one thing. If what Castro said about his dad was true. It hurts her to admit it, but the facts are the facts, and when she says yes, fire burns in his eyes.
So are you divorcing him?
In Senator Gallio's villa, a celebration is in order, but several of the revelers don't feel much in the mood to party.
Can't imagine why.
Both Sam and Rahne bristle at the cruel way Gallio has whipped Aquila's back raw before the partygoers. This close to triumph, he doesn't really need the New Mutants anymore. And so he begins making arrangements to do away with them, ordering Sam's wine poisoned and Rahne's drugged with more of the slave wine.
Oh, fun.
Before proposing a toast to their missing friend. Before either of the youngsters raises the cup, Amara proves herself a cat on her third life.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay, not only is she apparently not dead, but...
Welcome back.
Sure.
She's rising yet again through the floor, pleading for her incredulous father to save her.
Okay.
He's not really in a position to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gallio barks for the guards to kill both of the Aquilas. Luckily for them, Roberto's army chooses that moment to charge into the originally unintended but still welcome rescue.
Hold on. In between those, 4 panels? He's had time to...
Raise an army? Yes.
Yeah.
So we're just done with this story, huh?
Berto fills the others in quickly that Gallio is bad news after all.
Shocker.
And that's all Rahne needs to hear to leap into action.
I mean... okay.
Did you not know that? I think we already knew that, guys.
I mean, they didn't know that specifically, but I think after he...
Whipped the man?
I feel like at that point I would have been like, alright.
Okay.
Fuck this guy.
This guy's too much. That's not how law is supposed to work.
Sam is lucky enough that a group of Marcus's household guards have been good enough to stand all in a line down one of the hallways.
Oh my god.
Set him up to knock him down. Next, Roberto faces off with a spear-wielding soldier who wants to take a go at him.
Yeah, about that.
He makes his charge, but Berto snags the spear and decks the man, only for his shoulder to explode in pain where he was shot.
Ooh.
Ow.
The pain is such that he misses the second soldier, creeping upon him with a sword.
Ew.
Lucky him, he's got Guthrie backing him up.
Aw.
And the Kentucky Cannonball swoops by behind him, sweeping the guard off his feet. The good news is, according to Mrs. DaCosta, most of the army is staying out of this one. They've just got to beat these guys and they'll be golden.
Wow.
Convenient again.
Yeah,
Very,
we really are piecing out of this story, huh?
Nearby, another of Gallio's men charges Rahne, ready to take the young wolfling out of the fight. She's more than able to hold her own, though, grabbing hold of the spear mid-charge and swinging the soldier roughly into a wall. She's so caught up in his attack that she never sees Senator Gallio's coming as he smashes a bottle down on her head.
Ow.
Sending her, of course, back to her natural state, unconscious on the ground.
At least she's not bleeding this time.
That we know of.
Raising his blade high to finish the girl, he's surprised when it's intercepted by another sword. Senator Aquila has joined the fight.
Ah.
The rivals stand face to face, weapons in hand, hate in their eyes, and the fate of Nova Roma on the table. From the first swing, it's clear that Galio's rough treatment has taken its toll on Senator Aquila. But with Marcus's next lunge, Aquila's true skill finally shows through, and he stabs him clean through the chest, ending his ambitions for the throne real quick.
You know, there's a lot of bad things to say about this story, but I like that the good guy is fat. You know, you don't see a lot of good guys who are actually, like, you know...
Fat.
Well, consider this with the mutants.
He's a good guy and he's effective.
I mean, consider this with the X-Men. The Blob.
The Blob. And his thing isn't about being fat.
Yes.
He stabs the guy.
Yes.
He doesn't belly bump him to death.
Though I'd love to know, where did you get the pink blood on your sword?
This is Danganronpa.
Oh no, not Danganronpa.
You can't go back to Danganronpa.
No.
With that done, he can finally check on his poor daughter, still lying on the floor, returned to normal now. She explains that while she had been dying, touching the earth brought her back from the brink, revitalizing her life force.
Okay.
So, like, as long as she touches the earth, she's basically immortal. Okay.
Right?
So Amara just needs to touch grass and she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Literally, touch grass.
She then drops the bombshell of what Celine is trying to do to Danny, and the kids know they have to leave like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Employing Rahne's tracking skills to get them there through Amara's tunnel.
Well, it's not like they're gonna have a hard time getting there.
Easy enough, right? Perhaps too easy. As soon as they're down there, Celine starts picking them off, first separating Rahne from the group with a stone door, then imprisoning the rest within rocks.
Well, it was a good run.
It doesn't last. Within moments, Sam blasts free of his prison, and Amara melts her own, still scared of what she can do. For the barest moment, Sammy too is afraid to pick her up, worried that she'll burn him.
That's fair.
But he braves it anyway, scooping up Berto in his other arm while he's at it. Unfortunately too weak to become Sunspot. When they arrive, they find Rahne squaring off with a stone wolf, easily handled by Amara, who melts it away.
With beams.
Beams! Danielle is delighted to see her alive.
She has a new outfit again.
Wow.
Danielle is delighted to see her alive, as is Celine, famished from her exertions. She could use snackies.
Oh, and they...
You know, she's a replenishable resource.
Yes, but the whole group is delivery.
Oh, true.
At Aquila's encouragement, Rahne jumps at the Black Priestess, but the children are easily beaten back with a wave of the hand. She claims she cannot perish by mortal means.
Guys, we're gonna have to find some immortal means.
Would Celine do that? Just tell lies? Vote now.
Yes. She would.
Do like that one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where there's a demon who's like...
I cannot be killed with any weapon forged.
Forged by man, and then she's like... Forged by man in like medieval times, and she pulls out a rocket launcher.
What does that do?
What does that do?
I've never watched Buffy.
Oh, man.
Some of it's really good.
And some of it's not.
Yeah.
Whedon.
I think Angel is overall a better series.
I don't know.
Either way, Danny begs she stop, throwing herself at Celine's mercy.
What mercy?
If she'll just let her friends be.
This woman has literally zero mercy.
Yeah. I mean, she's desperate. I get it, but like, yeah.
Celine just laughs her off, knowing Moonstar has no bargaining power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the other chips intend to go down without a fight, though. And Roberto takes back to his feet, charging Celine once more and taking another of her painful bolts in the process. That gives Danny an idea. While the priestess's attention is fixed on Sunspot, she digs deep into her reserves, pushing past Celine's resistance to her powers and causing the psychic vampire to see an image of her true death.
Yeah.
No! The image of my true death!
No! Falling into a giant skull.
It freaks her out, catching her off guard enough for Roberto to drive a sword through her chest.
Not her heart.
But if your money was on Celine telling the truth about being unable to be killed by normal mortal means, she is still up and fighting.
Yeah.
Bobby, assumedly this time not inspired by Thomas Magnum, is suddenly struck by a bolt of inspiration. Despite Celine's hand wrapped around his throat, he cries out for Sam to blast a hole through the cavern wall, allowing the light from the sunrise to flood the chamber. Powers fueled and able to transform to Sunspot, the sheer rush of energy is too much for her to handle. Buying them a moment for Amara to burrow a furrow down into the earth.
So we're overcharging this woman. Cool.
Roberto then picks her up high overhead, and before anyone can stop him, he casts her down into the lava, bashing Amara's tunnel back closed behind her with a single blow.
Ooh, he used his
Hell yeah.
That's his not shot arm, I guess.
The New Mutants are all on his case about killing someone.
Okay, look, first, he probably didn't kill her.
But truth be told, Roberto's not actually sure he did.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Exactly.
Amara, on the other hand, is mostly concerned of what will become of her now.
You can probably be a local goddess?
Probably.
If you play your cards right.
Yeah.
They seemed willing to accept the New Mutants.
Yeah.
How'd y'all like that?
They are super done with this story, huh?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I'm glad they're done with this.
That feels generous.
I know, but they feel done with the story, and good.
I'm debating, honestly, that feels very generous because I'm sitting here debating between a 2 and a 3.
Fair enough.
Split the difference.
2.5, I guess.
Look, the Roman politicking is basically not here at all, and I'm happy about that.
I'll split the difference between both of you and go for a 3.
Because, I mean, I'm on board with, we're throwing her into the lava, and that's our solution.
I do love that.
Look, our solution is to throw the immortal lady into the lava
Alright, we're
and
done
bury
with this.
her in a hole and hope she's dead.
We're done with this. Over. No arguing about it. No quibbling. We're just throwing her in the fucking lava.
Yes, and maybe and if she dies, she dies.
She dies. How do you think CMRO liked it?
3?
4.
3.05,
Oh,
so
shit.
pretty close.
Very close.
Next up is New Mutants 12 from October of 1983. Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Tom Mandrake, colored by George Rousseau, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski with a cover by Tom Mandrake.
We really are going to unexplored territory, huh? With this cover.
Emmanuel da Costa, one of the richest men in Rio de Janeiro, arrives at Da Costa Industries, South America, in a jovial enough mood, greeting the doorman cheerfully. The businessman, who clawed his way up from utter poverty, destroying any who stood in his way, is surprised when he sees one such obstacle in his office, sitting in his chair. His son wastes no time getting to brass tacks,
Oh boy.
calling him out on the attempted murders of Nina and the New Mutants.
Not cool, Dad.
Pretty uncool.
Especially when you don't have superpowers.
Emmanuel doesn't deny the charge, and Roberto drifts into memory, thinking of a time years back when his father promised him one day the city would be his. And as most young boys would, he believed his father, adored him, lived to make him proud. No more. Ashamed of his dear old dad now, he denies his legacy, uninterested in anything his father has to offer. Papa da Costa entreats him to think it through, reminding him of the hardships of poverty. But an angry Roberto feels he's been pushed to this. He then repeats his accusation of attempted murder, which this time Emmanuel rebuts, but Bobby won't hear it. He's on a rampage, demanding to know his father's reasons for hiring Castro in the first place. When Dad doesn't cooperate, Roberto questions if Emmanuel would have even cared, and that's finally enough to get Papa DeCasta's hackles raised, not caring for Berto's tone. Both men now angry, they butt heads, and Emmanuel raises his hand to his son for judging him, only to learn that shit ain't gonna fly.
Your son could hit back. Harder.
Much harder.
In a flash, his son is now Sunspot, more than able to defend himself if Pops wants to give it a go.
Try it.
Fuck around and find out. He then demands his father leave the Madeira alone, under penalty of the New Mutants intervening, before he's ready to leave. Pops threatens that he's dead to him if he goes, but Berto doesn't care. He's seen all he needs to see, proclaiming himself half an orphan as he leaves his father alone.
Damn. Savage.
Furious, Emmanuel's grip shatters his teacup and saucer.
I'm not really sure how he does that, but he does do it.
Splashing coffee all over the office floor.
It looks like he tears it apart.
After the briefest moment to collect himself, the business mogul calls down to his secretary with a request. In no time at all, Emmanuel is connected with Sebastian Shaw, accepting the latter's invitation to the Hellfire Club.
He looks different.
Sebastian?
Yeah.
We've seen him with this hair before.
It's just the art style.
Yeah, he looks kind of fat in a way that I don't remember him looking.
He's not fat. That's just the way that they drew him in that panel.
Fair.
Meanwhile, in the elevator, Roberto thinks back to the discussion he had with his mother regarding coming here. Still full of love for her husband, despite everything, she refused to come along with.
Oh no.
Hoping that in time he'll come back to the man she fell in love with.
He's a capitalist. No.
Girl, he literally tried to kill you.
Leave him. He hired someone to kill you. Leave him.
But it seems, as Berto leaves the elevator, wiping a tear from his face, that if that day is coming, it certainly hasn't come yet.
Aw, poor boy.
On the sands of Ipanema Beach, Danny Moonshar and Amara, long name Aquila, sit sunning on the sands. While Amara admires her new swimsuit, a garment quite different from her usual duds, she's unused to everything else. The heat of the sun, unshaded by the mountain clouds, the crowds of people. It's all overwhelming for the girl, who right now feels homesickness eating at her. She thinks back to Nova Roma and her father. Before she'd left, he'd been quite insistent that she go, something Amara had taken great umbrage to. But Dad was insistent, encouraging her not only to learn the outsider's ways, but to master her powers.
Aw. Good dad.
Although he's blonde here.
Yeah, he's suddenly blonde.
It could always have been a wig.
Oh,
No. Coloring error.
Yeah.
We have a coloring error here.
At the mention of that, the girl's temper flares, accusing her father of trying to get rid of her due to the accusations of the common folk of her being some kind of monster. As if in demonstration of exactly why she has to go, her powers flare up once more, causing a small geyser of lava to spurt up through the floor.
Well, it's a good thing there's not like a ton of infrastructure under that.
At once scared and apologetic, she flings herself into her father's arms, pleading for forgiveness. But there's nothing to forgive.
Aw.
Despite his own fear, they both know sending her away to Charles Xavier was the right move, bringing us back to the present. A group of young men approach to hit on Amara, ignoring Danny's efforts to wave them off. That's not all they ignore either. They also ignore Aquila's personal space boundaries.
Oh, no.
And consent, as one of them pulls her in for a kiss.
Ugh.
Wrong move, bucko. Furious, her powers flare up again, causing giant spurts of flame and lava to erupt from the ground.
You know, Rio needs a new volcano.
Good for them, because a volcano forms on the beach.
Oh boy!
Hey! New volcano!
Sending the once calm beachgoers scrambling. Meanwhile, we turn to a hesitant, scared Rahne stepping into a Catholic church for probably the first time in her life, giving what a fuss she makes about it.
Right?
As she'd been taught that all Catholics are agents of the devil.
Oh. Yeah, well, she is Irish.
She's Scottish, but yeah.
Oh, whatever.
But in
She's
very,
Anglican.
but in very Catholic Brazil, she shockingly couldn't find a Scots Presbyterian church. So she tries to tell herself that so long as God's listening, it'll do.
It's close enough.
Girl, you can pray anywhere.
Don't you have a personal relationship with God? Isn't that good enough?
Though she's not so sure he is listening to her anymore. Convinced she's going to hell for a litany of reasons, including what she is and how jealously she acted in Nova Roma.
You were drugged?
That didn't make her jealous of Amara, though.
Yeah.
She prays for a return of status among her friends, who seem to have abandoned her in favor of Amara.
Your friends have replaced you.
That's not how friendship works.
Admittedly, still upset how seemingly they only like her anymore for her abilities. Which is the perfect time for Sam to bust in, yelling how he needs her help to find Amara.
Oh, no.
Speaking of which, the panicked girl has fled the beach, only to end up causing a traffic jam in the middle of the city. All around her, drivers shout and honk their horns, overwhelming the girl until she stands sobbing in the middle of the road, crying for help. It comes in the form of a policeman, warding the cars off with a blast of his whistle and a wave of the arm. Quickly he escorts the girl out of the road so traffic can get moving again. And then he's got some questions for her. But when she answers, confused in English, his whole calm demeanor changes, accusing her of being on drugs.
What?
Oh, great.
'Cause she's a foreigner.
Of course.
Fun. You know what? Fuck the police.
I mean, yeah.
Yet again, Amara panics, and a nearby box truck is sent flying as a lava flow forms underneath it.
I think vacation needs to be over.
Yeah, actually.
Vacation is done.
We
We got kidnapped and enslaved by Romans in the Amazon. Why are we still on vacation?
Where is Professor X in all this?
Training Team America.
Still training Team America.
Fuck yeah! Oh god.
Nearby, the New Mutants hear the commotion and run towards the danger, knowing Amara's probably behind it. They're still shocked when they see the mess she's made of the Rio streets.
Oh my god.
Oh god, this is gonna cost Professor X so much money.
If they find out where to find that money. Though Sam's first instinct is to clean up the mess, Danny points out that the best thing they can do is help find Amara and get her powers under control. With that, Rahne transforms to Wolfsbane and mentally links up with her soulmate? Gay.
What?
I mean, she doesn't just call Danny her soulmate, she draws strength and comfort from her schoolmate's presence in her thoughts.
What?
Yeah, this is the first, is this the first mention of that? Because I feel like they haven't brought it up before now.
I think it came up a little bit earlier that first time she ran away. I don't know.
Yeah, so remember how we were just telling you that there are some gay overtones?
Yeah, I remember.
She then starts sneezing because of the sulfur in the air from all the volcanoes.
Or maybe the gay. Well, we'll never know.
No,
She's allergic to the gay.
I mean, given the things I know about her, yes.
Yeah.
Look, given the kind of person she already has been shown to be, yeah, I could believe that.
Rio's going to have one hell of a fun time dealing with this mess. Anyway, despite Rahne's inability to help, Roberto points out that they're gonna be able to follow in her wake anyway.
Just follow the trail of volcanoes.
Yes, follow the destruction and you will probably end up at its cause.
And the bunch take off in pursuit of their friend. While nearby, still baking in the sun, Amara wanders into an abandoned lot and finally loses her shit to the heat.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Desperately, she pleads for Helios, Lord of the Sun, to just take her from this. To join with her. And after a moment, the wishes of the feverish girl are granted. Like a bolt from the heavens, she is consumed by the fire inside.
That's
Right.
bad.
And soon Rio stands burning at her feet, a fitting sacrifice to the newborn goddess.
That's worse.
She's ready to continue her rampage when a thought flits through her mind of what she might have to do to those who resist her. All too reminiscent in her mind of Selene, and she breaks. Refusing to continue any further, she transforms back to herself as she takes a painful tumble down a pile of debris, unsure as to whether or not she really did destroy Rio. Exhausted and pouring sweat out of every pore, Amara finally collapses on the ground, where she's soon come upon by a group of people who decide to make off with the unconscious girl.
Oh, fun!
She's dying of heat stroke.
From her own powers?
Indeed,
Yeah.
so it would seem. Sometime later, the New Mutants stumble upon Amara's vacant lot, following Rahne's nose. It's empty now, but Rahne thinks some people carried her off in a truck. Glad to hear they're on the right path, Sam ruffles her fur, earning himself a telling off for treating her like a pet.
I mean...
But aside from that, they're all uneasy, sensing Amara's been building up to a monster quake and knowing they've got to get to her before it happens.
Well, good luck finding a truck.
Just a truck.
Up on the hill in the favelas of Rio de Janeiro, Amara lies feverish on a tattered bed. The older sister of the house is none too happy at this rich girl the kids have brought around, not savoring the consequences should she die. She's about to send them to fetch real help when suddenly the door comes crashing in. It's Roberto, son spotted up in the worry he'd have to deal with some street thugs.
That's fair.
I mean... My first thought when someone just fucking took her was like, oh boy. This is bad.
Well, that incident on the beach was bad.
It was quite bad, yes.
But with eyes on the situation, he reverts back to normal, reassuring the group that he's just here seeking his friend. Quickly, the rest of the New Mutants pile into the small shack, all worrying over Amara. She's in rough shape. Danny, with all of her medical knowledge...
She has medical knowledge?
She thinks she has medical knowledge.
Yeah.
She suspects sunstroke, and decides, in lieu of readily available ice, to try that trick she pulled in the jungle.
Which shouldn't work.
You know, thinking you're cold does not actually make you cold.
It doesn't, in fact.
Only to find that Amara's deepest wish is death. And not just for herself, but for all of them as well, because sharing is caring.
Oh, great.
Just then, a pre-shock begins to shake the house. One more reminder of the monster quake brewing. With that, Danny sends the boys off to go find some ice.
Good.
And they quickly tear off in search of it.
Actually, what they need to do is, increase or lower her body heat slowly, so just dumping a bunch of ice on her, maybe not the best idea.
I don't know. A girl who turns into lava has heat stroke. What do you do?
See,
Ice packs,
that's kind of
maybe.
how I feel about it. Girl who turns into lava has heat stroke. What do? She probably won't get that cold.
Yeah, I suppose.
And they quickly soar off in search of it, just wondering how the hell they're going to pull this off, when suddenly Roberto spots a conveniently placed ice truck.
Cool.
Nice.
With no time to spare, the boys nab the truck. Roberto lifting it and Sam carrying Berto.
I love this guy who's reading a book or something who doesn't even notice that a truck has just been yoinked
Yeah.
into the goddamn sky.
Meanwhile, out in the harbor, the water begins to bubble and boil as a massive volcano begins to form.
Oh, great.
That's probably bad.
It's fine.
When Amara comes to, she finds herself lying on a bed of ice,
That she appears to be melting.
surrounded by her friends.
I mean, ice melts.
Her first concern is for the city, worried that she truly did burn it to the ground. But on learning the more limited scope of the damage, she finally admits that, yeah, she's got a lot to learn, accepting the necessity of going to Xavier's.
Aw.
How'd y'all like that?
This was weird.
I liked it, honestly.
I don't know why it happened is the thing.
Well, just to, introduce her as a character, basically.
Yeah.
There was a lot of character work going on.
Character development.
But it does require them to still be on vacation after being enslaved. And
They're just waiting for their plane ride.
Right. Also, Roberto had to go talk to his dad.
So that's at least a day.
Right.
Because who knows how long that'll take. So.
Right, and then, he's got to have some time to recover from that.
Well, because, his mom's not leaving his dad, so even though Dad did try to kill Mom.
Right.
So there's kind of a lot to process, and I guess I can believe that,
Anyway, suspending my disbelief, I'll give it a 4 because I did like it.
3.5, I guess. It was weird, but not bad.
I'm still at a 3.
Fair enough.
What do you think CMRO gave it?
3?
2.
2.94 out of 5.
Oh, no.
Oh, great. I'm so fucking excited. Oh, boy.
Hey, you wanted to get back to X-Men, John.
Oh, boy.
I forgot how cringe Logan was being.
Oh, joy.
Last up this week is Uncanny X-Men 172. Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Paul Smith, inked by Bob Wysek, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski with a cover by Paul Smith and Bob Wysek. It's on a fine Tokyo evening that we catch up with the X-Men in a high-rise of the Meguro district, fresh off a private plane trip to Japan in the Emperor's own 747.
Great.
Logan, what are you wearing?
Hakama.
I know what he's wearing, but what? Okay, why are you wearing it?
To match wifey.
Yeah.
You're allowed to dress like a Westerner.
She might have asked him to.
I guess.
Logan warmly welcomes his friends. He then spots Lockheed draped around Kitty's neck, but is remarkably unquestioning beyond a simple, "What's that?" But with all the warm reunions, Mariko points out that one of the X-Men still stands waiting in the Genkin. Fact of the matter is, Logan already knew that. He just wanted to make Rogue sweat.
Oh boy.
Unwilling to just forgive and forget the former villainess's deeds against Carol Danvers. But 2 facts stand. 1, she's been accepted as a member of the X-Men. And 2, she's here as a guest, and he is being fucking rude. So Mariko is the one to welcome her inside.
And she's allowed to do that.
The whole group chill and socialize, unaware that a sword-wielding someone watches on from outside.
I wonder who that could be.
No, anyone could have a sword.
A man clad in samurai armor.
I wonder who that could be.
Listens in through planted bugs, finally ready to move tonight, while the X-Men are still tired from travel. But we've got an Inception situation going on here. For while the samurai spies on the X-Men, from even further back, Yukio spies on them.
Oh my god.
Just... What the... Everyone's watching this thing.
And after a time of this, she finally makes her move, leaping at him. The kick doesn't so much as stun the Silver Samurai, but the noise of it finally alerts Logan to the danger. And together with Nightcrawler, they make their way to the next roof over, where Ukes is presently doing her best to dodge the samurai's attacks. With one last order for Kurt to get Yukio out of danger, Logan leaps at the Silver Samurai, ready to throw down. They start scrapping, but it isn't long before Sylvie ports away midway through Wolvie's leap, leaving the X-Man to plunge through the space he'd once occupied towards his doom.
Coward.
Convenient time to know a teleporter, though. Once the pair are back on the roof, Yukio is gone, having jumped off into the night as she is wont to do. This time things don't go quite to plan. On one of her landings, her foot slips. It's Yukio's turn to fall to her death now. But she won't be splattering on the pavement either. As the street below looms ever nearer, her fall is suddenly arrested when Ororo scoops her out of the air.
Aw.
Yoink.
Ororo is about to get herself another girlfriend.
She is indeed.
Oh my god.
Ororo and Yukio is like a whole thing.
I am aware.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Finally, she sets the self-identified Ronin down, learning that Yukio already knows of her, and further, loved the ride.
Wow.
Immediately.
This is so gay.
Finding it an exhilarating way to feel alive.
This is so gay.
Ororo doesn't quite get her lack of fear, but as Yukio cartwheels off into the night once more, she does envy her laughter and zest for life.
Oh my god. Ladies, please.
All that done, the X-Men meet back at Logan and Mariko's to compare notes. Ororo recognizes the Silver Samurai from the ordeal with Shan's death, but she doesn't know what he's after. Logan, on the other hand, thinks it might have had something to do with Lord Shingen, having wanted to take his criminal enterprise international. On hearing that their enemy's already been vanquished, Kitty chipperly comments that now they can go question him in jail. The others are like tugging their collars because they already kind of figured out how this thing went down. But it's Kurt who breaks the news that Shingen's probably not in talking shape.
To say the least.
Welp.
He is the best at what he does.
But what he does isn't very nice.
Yeah.
It's moving.
Logan knows it's a bit of a kick in the teeth for the kid, who looks up to him. But what can you do?
Sometimes you just gotta stab a guy.
In the face.
Yeah.
As many times as you can.
It's true.
Meanwhile, Mariko stands alone, clutching a note in her hands. She has brilliantly decided to keep the midnight summons secret, but for an instruction to the hired help not to tell any of the X-Men that she's left.
Oh, fun.
Her maid, Tony, obeys, telling Logan that she's gone to bed before Wolvie sends her to the kitchen on a snack run. Bad luck for Tone. When she enters, a palm strike to the face sends the maid down in one go, leaving Viper to her plans to help secure either Mariko's abdication or her death. A few moments later, another member of the household staff comes up with a kettle of tea, pouring a cup for each of the X-Men. Logan and Ororo settle in with their tea to catch up on things, as plenty has happened in the interim. Each can tell things have changed with the other, but since Ororo doesn't volunteer any info, Logan starts, expressing disbelief at his change in station, tempered with self-doubt over his own worthiness of Mariko's heart.
Aw.
But there's more on his mind. His love has still inherited this criminal empire to untangle, and Logan worries she'll end up corrupted in the undoing. As he drains his cup of tea, Ororo speaks, not so sure his fears are founded. She doesn't take any particular comfort from the discussion either, her thoughts still dwelling on her own recent change. As Storm raises her cups to her lips to take a drink, Wolvie recognizes the taste of poison in his tea, and quickly knocks the cup out of her hands, warning her not to drink before he collapses just like the rest of the downed X-Men.
Rip.
Meanwhile, downstairs, Mariko gets in her car, passing the address to her driver, who, unbeknownst to her, is actually Yukio!
Oh.
Wheels within
Okay.
wheels. This whole thing is...
There's a lot going on.
Meanwhile, again, we check in with Scott Summers in Alaska.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Bad choices are being made.
Nose
Always.
buried in his grandparents' personnel files. He doesn't have the office alone for long. In no time, he's joined by his brother Alex, wise to his game. He's reading Madeline's file, and in Lex's eyes, ruining a good thing. Because while Scott might have seen the potential trouble and went YOLO, Alex just doesn't see the issue at all.
God.
What?
convinced that her coincidentally identical appearance to Jean Grey is just that, coincidence.
Why would you think that?
Because he's dumb.
I'm...
He's dumb.
Okay.
We have covered before how he is dumb.
But Scott is too on edge. Between that crack she made about reading minds and the plane crash occurring down to the minute of Jean Grey's death, which is, nice to know he had the presence of mind to track that even while utterly distraught, but
Were you keeping an eye on the clock, Scott?
But Scott has to know more to set his mind at ease. Back at the Tokyo docks, Mariko enters a warehouse all alone to have her meeting with the Silver Samurai, his lover Viper, and a Yakuza leader summoned to play a mediator.
This feels like a bad decision.
You don't say.
Mariko starts off strong, declaring, essentially, that Harada can rule the family over her dead body.
Yeah.
That pisses off Keniuchio, as it was meant to, but the Oyabun of the Yakuza waves him off, turning his attention instead to Mariko, to chide her for her tone, but she declares allegiance only to the Emperor. Yes, I know. While Silver declares the clan rightfully his, as his father's only son.
It's... whatever.
It's cringe is what it is.
Mariko fiercely denies his claim, rebuking him for his criminal activities. As the samurai draws his sword, her focus instead shifts to the Oyabun, calling foul, as she'd been promised safety here. He doesn't intercede, though, insisting that the offer was meant only for the real Mariko, not this imposter.
Oh, boy.
Guess who's back? It's Yukio! The Wild One dives into action, chucking 3 of her throwing spikes Sylvie's way. While the 2 of them fight, Viper vanishes with the samurai's teleport ring to port back to the only place Mariko could actually be. Seeing as she followed her all the way here. The car.
That Yakuza guy is really calm with all these weapons going all over the place.
Yeah.
Yukes does her best to hold her own against her nearly equally matched opponent, but while she does, Viper reappears outside in a fog so thick she's barely able to pick out the car. She steps over, gun drawn to finish off her prey, but as soon as she opens the car door, she's sent flying backwards, smashing roughly to a stop with a wham! And knocking her unconscious.
Okay.
It's Storm with a gust of wind that yet again rampaged out of her control.
Oh, yeah.
But the most important thing for now is that she saved Mariko. That done, Storm orders the woman to leave, instructing her to call the cops as soon as she's out of range. Yukio's still holding her own, and having a ball while doing so. But Ororo knows she can't hold out forever. Despite the fears of her powers getting away from her again, she summons up a bolt of lightning to chuck the samurai's way. Exactly as the Oyabun somehow planned?
What?
Storm's power yet again begins to run rampant, nearly electrocuting the Silver Samurai rather than just stunning him. She tries her best to draw the lightning back into herself, and in doing so sprays bolts all across the warehouse, accidentally igniting a box of fireworks.
And turning herself into a lava person?
Quickly things turn very loud as fireworks begin to spray everywhere. But over top of the din, Storm begins to scream, body burning from the lightning she can't stop firing off.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Yukio can see the lightning consuming her body. So to try to save her, she tackles her out of the air, safe from destruction only by catching the mutant inside Mariko's kimono. It's a success, and her momentum carries them through the window to the safety of a water landing below. Or so it seems, because just before they hit the water, a massive explosion from the fireworks punts them further through the air.
Oof.
They splash down surprisingly gracefully in the water. and Ororo kicks her way to the surface, crying out for Yukio in concern as she looks for her savior. That's when the Firebird raising high over the warehouse fire catches her eyes. Taking the breath right out of her chest for a moment.
Oh no, I know what that's about.
As Yukio too resurfaces. As usual, Yukes thought this was a blast! And the Firebird, just the kicker.
You don't know what that's about, do ya?
Nope.
Of course not. Why would she?
But for Ororo, the bird is a sinking stone in her stomach, worried that it means the return of the Phoenix.
What? The Phoenix comes back?
They climb out of the water onto one of the nearby piers, and Ororo confesses her envy over what she calls Yukio's madness.
Gay.
Her own life and powers require her to keep so buttoned down to avoid hurting those around her. And as of recent, she's been failing on that front. Back in the warehouse, the Silver Samurai has survived the conflagration.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this man did not die.
Right. Can't fucking believe it.
His first goal is to find the others. Well, I say that, but he really doesn't care about finding the Oyabun. He's mostly concerned with his girlfriend, who, while alive, lies groaning on the dock. He cries out into the night that he's not finished with them, that he'll get you next time, Gadget! While elsewhere, Yukio and Storm continue to pull themselves together. Ororo swears she hears laughter, and while she can't find the source, this sure looks like the Oyabun in the background.
Yeah.
Her first goal is to get back to her friends, to warn them what happened, but Yukio won't hear it. They're in too rough a shape, they need to rest. At the hospital, things aren't great. Most of the X-Men are in critical condition.
Ooh.
Not guaranteed to survive. But with his healing factor, even though he's still feeling like garbage, Wolverine is ready to bust some heads for this.
Yeah, that tracks.
Back from her adventure, Mariko protests at his leaving, insisting that in his current condition it's suicide. But to Logan, it's not just a matter of busting heads, it's that this isn't over. The Silver Samurai took one crack at her. He's not just going to give up on murdering his half-sister. And while he's at it, he's probably going to hurt a whole bunch of people who get in his way. But he won't be going alone if Rogue gets her way. She speaks up, insisting that she's coming, but Logan rebuffs her coldly. Passionately, the girl entreats that she just needs her chance, and this is it. When Wolvie asks about the poison, she reminds him of the alien origin of Ms. Marvel's powers.
Yeah.
It didn't affect her as badly as the others. And considering everything going on, Logan could use some backup. He can't deny the point, and finally it's agreed that she'll be coming along. But Wolvie is the one in charge. How'd y'all like that?
4.
Yeah, I'm feeling generous.
It's pretty good.
4.
Yeah, it's good to be back to X-Men.
It is.
Yeah.
4 stars.
Back in the swing of things where Chris knows what the fuck he's doing.
Even if some of it is still cringe.
These things happen. It's the 80s. Japanophilia is going wild.
Oh, we're decades away from Pokemania.
What do you think CMRO thought?
4.
4?
4.02, right on the money. And that is going to be it for us this week.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that you voted.
Please tell us.
Please have done that.
Please have done that, yeah.
Yeah.
Would be nice if you listened to my message that told you to vote, and then you would have voted, because I was so convincing.
I have exciting news. I voted early today, and I got the famous werewolf I voted sticker.
Lucky.
Yeah, because we're Michiganders, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah. We've mentioned it before.
We have before, but you never know when you pick up someone new.
If this is your first episode, just so you know, we're in Michigan, and Michigan has the werewolf sticker that's gone viral.
Elected.
There are a whole bunch of stickers. It's not just the werewolf sticker, but the werewolf sticker is the one that is known everywhere.
And it's fucking incredible. I mean, honestly, they had a whole array of them, and they were all pretty good.
Mine says, "Oh, I voted."
Oh.
I have voted, but I don't get a special sticker because I'm a...
Because you didn't Pokemon go to the polls.
Yes. I got... My ballot got mailed to me, and I put it in the drop box, which I, for the love of God, hope nobody fucking firebombs. I mean, they caught the guy who was doing that.
Right.
I thought they said someone else tried it.
Maybe. But
probably.
These things cause copycats.
Indeed.
Woofy-doof. Oofa-doofa. There we go.
I mean, if it does get set on fire, they'll they won't contact you, but they'll be like, if you dropped off a ballot at this time, you gotta do it again.
I imagine they've gotten to it by now.
Yeah.
I think you can actually check. There are tools where you can check to see if you voted.
You can check to see if anyone voted. It's public.
Much as, oh, don't get me started on that. But, yeah, you can check to see if they counted your ballot or received your ballot yet. Much as the poll worker was trying to tell this man at the polling place today, who...
Oh, no.
Was very annoying. I told Ripley about it earlier.
Well, tell everybody. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Story time.
We're supposed to be wrapping up, but I guess I can talk about it.
Well, why the hell not? It's our show.
There was this older man. He was doing a really obnoxious stage whisper the entire time I was there. I don't know why, because it was a lot more annoying and noticeable than if he had just talked normally. So he was talking like this the entire time. Except he was a lot louder because I'm kind of quiet. He was a lot louder. He was very, very loud.
Do you want me to boost you?
No. I mean, I guess if you find it necessary, go ahead.
We find it necessary.
But anyway, he was asking a lot of questions. He was being really, obnoxious about the ballot machine. Because around here, we have paper ballots, and then you feed it into a machine that, processes it.
The paper ballots are important because you need the paper evidence. There's no real good way to do a digital-only vote. Yeah,
so he was being really obnoxious about it, and at first he was like, can I get a receipt to know that my vote was counted?
Wow.
And she's like, no, it doesn't give receipts. Nobody gets a receipt. And he's like, but how do I know my vote was counted? And she was like, well, I told you when it counts it puts up a picture of an American flag, and then you can see that the number of votes that it's counted goes up. And he's like, oh, I didn't notice that. And then he just kept going on, and he started talking about how, I just want to make sure my vote got counted because there's been problems with machines just not counting votes and votes not getting counted, and
oh my God.
The machines are not working right, and yada yada, the entire time doing that obnoxious stage whisper. And he was literally there was one machine.
He's trying to make a show.
There was one machine, so he was standing in the fucking way. And this was happening in the middle of me handing my ballot to the lady to, get it ready to put in the machine. And eventually she turned back to me and she's like, okay, well, once he moves out of the way, go put this in the machine. I'm like, yeah.
See, this is why my mom kept giving me information on how to become a poll worker.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you're only sharing this after the election, because this is turning into a bit of a battleground in more ways than one.
Well, I didn't decide to become a poll worker because I didn't want to deal with people like that.
Yes. Ripley's a poll watcher.
Yeah, I'm not a poll watcher, actually. I'm a poll observer, which is slightly different.
Oh,
a poll observer is credentialed by the state and actually has, abilities to raise inquiries and everything, raise challenges. There's a slight difference. Poll watchers aren't credentialed by the state, and it doesn't matter what they do. They're just allowed to watch.
I see.
You just like to watch.
So, to anybody who's looking to get involved with the process, I highly encourage you to try it because you're not actually allowed to talk with voters. So if you're antisocial, look into it. Reach out to your local party.
I mean, this is coming out after the election, so
I know.
next time. But
Next time.
Hey, now, though, tell us about any annoying people that you encountered at the polls.
And hopefully, there is a next time.
Well, there will be. Come on, we've got until at least January 6th.
Oh, no.
I'm not afraid of January 6th, too. January 6th squared, January 36th.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that's going to be it for us. If you want to talk to us on social media, we are on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook. If you wouldn't mind hitting all the buttons below, like we said, leave us a comment with your voting experience down below. Other than that, like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. We really appreciate that. If you'd like to support the show, throw us a couple bucks over on Coffee. We are over there, Comicsplaining. And if you want to shoot us an email for any longer comments than you want to leave down in the comments or whatever, we are comicsplaining@gmail.com. Other than that, we look forward to talking to you next time. Sorry for being a little late this time. I had problems.
It's fine.
It's a time.
Everybody's fine here.
How are you?
Anyway, that's going to be it for us. Bye!